Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on the training call this evening. We're looking at some basic questions that you might get asked, and then we'll also look at, amongst other things, the 22-month or the 15-month structure. If it sounds like something new, it's just a way of looking at things. It's not a different offering, if I might put it that way, just to get your mind at ease right from the start. Let's talk about critical thinking because, as Carl Sagan said, it seems to me that the only hope for mankind is to exercise the greatest skill we have, critical thinking. And then one of my quotes where most people think, but only a few people think about what they think about when they think. If you take that back to something in the Bible, it's basically keep short accounts and think about, make sure that you take a thought captive. That's what it mentions in the book. So if we look at it, one of the questions you might get, and something that's always around our type of industry, is what is the product or service of NWP? So remember that network marketing can only be legit if there's a product. So as it's an asset management company, then the deposit made by the person you refer should be the product. Well, that's how many financial companies operate. But does that sound right? Let me hear from you people. Does it sound right if the deposit that you make, is that the product?
Rich, I don't agree with that. I think the service to make that deposit grow, that is the product, not the deposit itself. The deposit is not the real product, but the service that this company offers.
Okay, good, wonderful. Thanks for that insight, George. Victor, what did you want to...
being in the financial industry, like George said, I agree totally. It's the service that the company is offering. So you say the asset management company. So in my view, in my eyes, is that the company is investing in assets, whether it's Forex, whether it's equities, whether it's hedge funds, whatever, in order for us to get a return on that investment.
Good. Wonderful. Thanks for those insights. That's really good. Thank you. So the reason why we bring this up is it's something that you all need to understand, because it is things that people are going to ask you. And, the better you can answer questions, the more successful you're going to be. So let's just have a look at what George and Victor has mentioned, because if the product, or if the deposit is the product, and that's a fallacy, here is the critical distinction. The money people deposit, that's their capital. It's not a product. So their capital is never a product, or it should never be a product. And if commissions are paid based on the size of someone's deposit, then when you refer, let's say they put in $1,000 and you get 10%, well, then effectively the company's only got $900 to work on. And that's a massive red flag then. So if the money that they make or the money that they paid out relies on recruiting people, because effectively often you are given an incentive to recruit people, that's normally what happens, and that's where then regulators start classifying that as a pyramid scheme. So what we've got to make sure is that the deposit is not a product, and we must understand that very clearly. And then also that there's no money rotation or money coming off your person's deposit, which then could potentially be classified as a pyramid scheme or Ponzi or something like that. So those are the ways to ensure that that's not happening. So when we look at what is the product, So then the next question to ask yourself is, if the recruitment stopped today, so you couldn't recruit any more people into NWP, would the company still make money? And yes, because the revenue does not come from new deposits. It's exactly what George and Victor said. It's the profit that's made on a weekly basis. So that is where the product is. So when you look and try and understand the product of NWP, it's the weekly profits. So all bonuses are paid from those profits. Remember, there's a profit split of 50-50, and that's where those bonuses come from. So your partner, as I mentioned in the normal presentation, 50% of the weekly profit goes to your partner, the person who made the deposit, and the rest goes to the business volume, which is where your affiliate rewards come from. So is everyone clear that the weekly profits is the product that NWP is offering? If the person takes his deposit out, there's no more weekly profits. Therefore, everything's still sustainable. No, they didn't pay you anything for money they didn't have. So they can only pay you bonuses from those weekly profits. Any questions, anything that you're unclear about on this one, and you think there's maybe a little bit of a gray area, please let's hear and we can discuss it and clarify it for the future or any time. Is everything clear on this one?
From our side, yes, thanks.
Good. Thanks, Cecil. Okay. Thank you, George. Thanks for the thumbs up there. But let's move along. Now, in that little invitation that you received to the Elephants group training, we mentioned there that there's content available. Now, what my question to you is, and there's a whole lot of content. How do we make this available to you other than posting it on the groups? You know, what I do on the group on a weekly basis is when the results come out, you get that, you get some reminder about the triple booster or something like that, whatever's happening. But there's a whole lot of other posts similar to what you see on the screen here. How would you like them and where would you like them to be so that you can access them? That's my question to you. Any suggestions? Because if I knew where to put it, I would have done it already. Let's put it that way. So I'm a bit stuck for, I know in the past we had things like drop boxes and those type of things. I'm not sure where we could put this type of content so that you could access it should you need it. I'm looking for suggestions.
Rich, may I suggest something?
Yes, sure, George, please do.
One line of thought is to put it in a Telegram group. Not a lot of chats allowed, etc. Only postings like this, because if you add a new member, you can always go back and find all the content there. It's not on a website, it's not complicated. Most people have got access to Telegram. This is just one idea that I have there.
Okay, so is Telegram then different to WhatsApp? Because I know on WhatsApp, like you said today, the new people couldn't see the old posts, but it's so in Telegram that isn't the case.
Yes, Rich. If you're added to a Telegram group, you can go back to all the conversations before. In a WhatsApp group, when you're added, nothing that went on before that was posted is seeable to you. But on Telegram, it is.
Okay.
So if you start a Telegram group just for content, not for blah, 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 so actually you, the admin, only you can post, then you can post all of this there and the people can go there. You add people there, the new people that come in, and they can go search back and get all the content there.
All right. No, that's fine. I think that's a great idea. As Chris is saying, not everyone's got Telegram. Well, if you don't have Telegram, then you can maybe ask someone who has got Telegram to send you some things. But I think, as George is saying, and what Blanche is saying here as well, that's probably the best solution that we can come up with at this time. If anyone's got any other ideas, we can do that as well. But as Paul is also saying, it's easy to download Telegram. So I will do that. I'll create a group, put just the content on there, so you can pull off posts and that sort of thing, and get the content whenever you need it. So thank you very much. Good. Tertius is also saying Telegram is the way. Thank you very much. Awesome. So you can, I'll create that group tomorrow, and we can get started on all these posts and I've got a lot of them, I can tell you that. And we'll get them out there, and then you can just go and cherry pick what you need and share, as and when you want to. That'll be fantastic for all of you. So thank you very much for that suggestion. Right, let's move along to the triple booster. And you've probably seen these posts, or not the triple booster, it's now the twin booster. We had the triple booster, that's gone. It's now been replaced by the $100 twin booster. Does everyone understand the power and the idea behind the twin booster? Is anyone unclear about the booster? Is anyone worried about the twin booster? What are your thoughts?
Rich, I would appreciate if you can just explain, just in short, how it works exactly. That will get us all on the same page.
Good. Thank you, George. Thanks very much. I'm going to do that. Thank you. Right. So what happens with the booster, as you will see on the posts here, you deposit $100, NWP puts $100 with that. You then receive profits on a weekly basis on $200. So this accelerates your earning. It doubles whatever you were going to earn on your $100. You're now earning double on a weekly basis. The only difference is, once you've earned $200 on your twin booster, it comes to an end. So it's not like a perpetual, non-stop, infinite deposit like you normally make. And that, your normal deposit of $100 simply it'll stay there, and you'll earn and earn and earn and earn and earn for years on that $100 that you put in. Whereas the twin booster is just there as a start to get people started and give you double. So you're going to earn double, but the problem comes is when you've reached $200 max, it all falls away. So effectively, you've just received your $100 back and $100 profit. But when you've got that, you've got no more benefit. So it's just that accelerated benefit for the time that it takes you to earn $200 that you will get. So that's the idea behind it. And if you look at, let's say, on $100 you were earning 5% a month, with the twin booster, effectively on your $100 you're earning 10% a month. That's really what it means. But the problem is that it only is there until such time as you've earned $200, and then it falls away. So you would have needed to take your profits and then reinvest that to make sure that you have got a perpetual investment going. And I shouldn't call it an investment, it's a deposit, because remember, this is like a savings. You can take your capital out at any time. Right, so if we now, is that clear to this point of how the booster works? Any questions about the booster?
Yes, Rich, I've got a question.
Yes, sure. Chris.
Okay. Any additional funding that you would put in? Let's say you've got the booster, the $100 booster. Any additional funding that you put in? Well, that's kind of, how can I put it, subtract from the 200, or not really? In other words, well, not.
No, it's completely separate. So that runs on its own, just like every portfolio you have. runs completely on its own. So this one will run on its own, and it doesn't matter if, there's a lot of people with a $10,000 deposit and they also take a booster, because effectively a 10,000 is giving you 8% a month, and the twin booster is giving you 100 or 10% a month. So that's why they take it. The guys with 50,000, they're not so interested in taking the twin boosters because that's equal to what they're getting at the moment. So, but yes, every deposit you make, every portfolio you open runs separately, but all those profits go into one checkout wallet. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. I understand that. I was thinking that, but I just wanted to make sure.
Good.
Another question I've got is, because I still have the $90 booster.
Yes.
Okay. Now my question is, the day that $90 come to an end, is it over and done with, or can I take out then a new booster? I know you can only have one booster at a time, but is it only once in a lifetime, or once it's finished, you can take out a new one?
Well, from what I understand, okay, from the decision that the company's made, the twin booster or the booster promotions will only go until December. And as from the beginning of the new year, there will be no booster promotions. It'll just be normal portfolios. So that's the way I understand it at the moment. So I don't.
Yeah, I've read something like that. I just forgot about it for a moment. Okay, last question. Is $100 booster the only booster for the moment, or are there any other boosters?
Yeah, that's a good question. Are there any other boosters at the moment? Who can help me? Is there still the? I don't. No, I don't know. I actually don't know. Sorry about that one. Yeah, I'm not. I think that's the only booster at the moment. Yeah, let me have a look at the back office if I can get there. No, I haven't got a back office open at the moment. So, but I do think that that's the only booster at the moment.
Hi, Rich.
Yes, Paula.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's the only booster. There's nothing else on the platform at this stage.
Okay, fine. That's great.
Can I just ask a question? So if a person puts in $1,000, you won't match $1,000. You'll only match $100. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's 100%. So if he put in $1,000, what would happen is the first $100 we would take that, get him a twin booster. So effectively, once he's put his $1,000 in, he'll start his trade with 1,100 because the booster will take effect on one of his $100. Yeah.
Okay. My question is this: if I put in $100, right, of my own money, you're going to match it, or they're going to match it with $100.
Yes.
At what point would you be allowed to draw $200?
Well, you can remember
if you understand my question.
Yes,
If you've now given me $100, obviously tomorrow morning I can't go and draw the $100 that you guys have given me. But at some point, you would, because you've given it to me, I should be able to draw it.
Oh, yes. Sorry, and that's probably something that I forgot to say. Right, so this booster, you still get your weekly profits. So you would get your weekly profit. So let's just use the example of you've got, the minimum you can draw from the system is $5. So you're going to make, in 2 weeks, off your 200, you're going to make $5, and by the end of the month, you would have made $10.
Right.
Okay. You're going to then draw that $10 that you've made at the end of the month, and you're going to potentially open yourself another $10 portfolio, or you're going to go and spend the $10.
Okay.
But the twin booster, the only difference is that they've taken it, your $100 is locked away until you've made 200, but all the profits come to you on a normal weekly basis.
Okay. Look, as you know, I'm new at this.
No, that's perfect.
I'm just picking here and there as I go along.
That's great. Thanks, Victor, because it's often things that we forget to say. It's sort of obvious to us, but obviously not so obvious to the new person. So thanks for your questions. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Rich, can I explain and ask if my explanation is correct? So with the $100 booster, you've got $200. You get every month $10. Okay. Whether you put it back or whether you use it doesn't matter. Basically after 20 months, more or less, the booster will come to an end.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. If it's exactly 5% a month, after 20 months it will come to an end. If it's a little bit more, it will be a little bit less months, a little bit less than 5%, it will be few more months, a little bit longer than 20 months.
100% correct. That's right, Chris. Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. So,
Another question.
Yes, carry on.
If a person starts with $20, $25, and then 2 weeks later, then he finds $100, can he then put that in for a booster, or is it only with the initial sign up that he must choose that?
No, he can do it at any stage. So let's use that example where he's put in $25 and then he put in another $25 and then he found himself another 50. So he's got 50 outside of the system, and effectively he's got $50 in the system. But now he wants that twin booster. What he would do then is he would make a withdrawal of those two 25s that he's put in, and get that back into his wallet, put it together with his $50 that he's got, deposit the $100 into the system, and then open the twin booster. So he'd still be able to use the money that he has been put in. He just has to withdraw that capital so that he can get it back into his own wallet so he can make a new deposit, because you can't move portfolios around in the system. You have to close them, get the money back to yourself, and then make a new deposit. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, good. So it's much the same as when someone makes a mistake and he puts the money into his account. He wanted to deposit $100, but he deposited $1,000 by mistake. The only thing that he can do, it's now in his checking wallet. He needs to invest that $1,000 for the week, get the profits on a Saturday, and then take out his money and then put back his $100. So if anyone does do that, then just tell them, don't let the money just lie there. Invest it for a week, let it work for you, and get the money out on the weekend. Because sometimes people will also put their $100 in and then put it into a normal portfolio. And they say, oh, but I wanted the booster. So just let them draw that money out on a Saturday, get it back, redeposit it, open the booster, and off they go. So yeah, that's the only way. Support won't move money for you. They can't move money for you. It's all a manual process. You need to do it or help your guys do that. So it's a nice question because it just gives us an idea of the workings of the system as well. Okay. So one of the questions is that you might get is, but how can the company afford to give me this $100? Because we started with this thing about product, and the product of the company is the actual weekly profit. So where do they get this $100 from? And because they're not giving you an upfront commission, so how can they give you a $100 booster? So, and that's a very legitimate question. So good. So a normal deposit, you've got $100. Only 20% of that will be used for trade. $20 will be used for trade. So in other words, to generate your profits, only $20 will be used to generate your weekly profits. Because you have to have that $100 available for withdrawal, because we just used some examples of why you might need that $100. You might need it to pay something, you might need it to take it out and put it back in because you want to get a booster or something like that. But anyway, it's your prerogative to decide on the weekend what you want to do with that $100. So that's the way the normal deposit works. So let's have a look at why and how the company can offer you the booster promotion. Firstly, when you put in your $100 on the booster, they can use 100% of that for trade. So not $20 as in a normal deposit, but now $100 is generating. So they've got 5 times the power to generate you weekly profits. The booster, although there's $200 in your back office, they're not giving you $200 or they're not giving you another $100. They're giving you it in weekly profits. So that's all they need to do is generate those weekly profits, and they've got a lot more power to generate you the weekly profits. So they've got 5 times the power, or you could say more than 3 times the power of that, but they are able then to generate you easily double the profits, and that's how they'll be able to get you the booster. Then another thing that can happen with the booster money is because it doesn't have to be available for you to withdraw on the weekend. They can also trade with that on the weekends in crypto markets, because crypto markets are 7 days a week. And then at the end of the day, when your booster comes to an end, that capital, that $100 that you originally gave there, and the company gave you double the profits back, it then becomes capital or liquidity for the company. So it's a win-win for everyone. I hope that sort of lets you understand how and why the company could offer you the booster. Are there any questions on this one?
I understand 100%. Thank you very much.
Good. Thanks very much. Thanks, Chris. Right, so let's just have a look at some of the traction and performance metrics that have happened since the time NWP started. If you'd put in $100 on the 26th of October last year, when that was the first trading week, you would have earned $106.21 so far. In actual fact, so the company's paid out 106% to the partner with a portfolio, but in actual fact, they've paid out 212% because 50% goes to the business volume. So 212% has been paid out from the time that the company started. And then if we look at the triple booster, so this is the first booster that was offered, or there were at that stage, there was a $10 booster and a $30 triple booster. A lot of people took the triple booster. And what has happened since the 26th of April, when we started with the triple boosters, those people who have put their $30 in have received $39.01 so far. So as Chris mentioned, if you're doing the $100, it's going to take you about 20 months. That is the situation with the triple booster. And effectively, those guys who took the triple booster in April have actually earned 130%. So what's been paid out? 260% has been paid out from the triple boosters. And it's, for me, just another thing of just how transparent the system is. If we look at the existing member base, and yeah, sure, there are guys with big money in the system, but our average member has a booster and maybe a little bit more. But when I say a little bit more, they might have, $100. So if you look at this, and it just shows the sustainability and the robustness of the system, that 260% has been paid since the 26th of April, and the 212% on the normal portfolios. And we're just talking about the foundation portfolios here. Obviously, your growth portfolios and the elite portfolios have given a lot more. But that just gives you an idea of the system and just the track record of NWP, because everyone wants to always know what's the track record, and this is the track record. I mean, when I say that, when we look at triple boosters, and if I look at my team, I would say 90% of the people have triple boosters or some sort of booster. and they don't have a lot of extra money over and above that. So, it's not like there's a whole lot of big money that's able to rotate and pay smaller things. There has to be trading for this to work, and that's evident from the system. This type of system, it's not there for the greedy. Often, people want those pyramid type of things, that those first examples where they can get the upfront commissions and earn lots of money. This is a sustainable system where you're building yourself a weekly income. So you just don't get the numbers, but you do get the sustainability and the longevity of the system and the growth that comes with that. So yeah, I do hope that this sort of speaks to any concern that you might have. Now let's look at what I call the reinvestment nudge. When we talk to people, and we always need to ask them, and understand what they're trying to do with their money. If they want their money to work, let them put it back, and remind people to do their redeposit, because often people have put in a very small amount, and they, yes, it's money, but it's not really money that's going to make a difference. So then they forget to let it grow. And by just simply taking out the profits and putting $10 back when you can, does cause it to grow, and it does accelerate your growth. So, do help people to do that. What I find, and from personal experience, when you get someone to the sweet spot, and the sweet spot's $1,000, this is when every week they are making at least $10 from the system, even on a very bad week, when the trading is extremely low, much like this last weekend. They'll still earn at least $10. They're still able to withdraw those profits and reinvest them to get a compounding effect. So that's really, then the person's on where you almost don't have to remind them, because they're now excited, they've seen the growth. So this is where you would like to get your members, is to this $1,000 point. And it might take some time, so, work with them and help them to get there. But that's really where you want to go, because if I look at the system, and, $1,000 is going to give you $10 a week. What $10,000 is going to do is going to give you $200 a week, and we know that $200 a week starts to pay for things. You're able to pay your lights and water. You're able to buy groceries, your petrol, and pay some bills with $200. And then obviously the next step up to the elite portfolios, that's freedom. That's $5,000 a month, $1,250 a week. But those are for me, the steps. So you've started with your foundation at $10. You then get up to the 1,000, where you're able to reinvest $10 a week, and then to the next step and the next step. So that's the whole idea when we move to the next point, and that is the structured success predictable path. Okay. And what I want you to understand about this whole structure system is it's not different. So even when you look in your back office and you see the SRP, which is relevant for the European people, but we'll talk about that now as well. But the whole idea is that it's not a different system. It's still your normal portfolios that you open. It's just having a look at a structure where things are a bit more predictable. Because from my experience, most people have difficulty when it comes to working out percentages, trying to figure out what their money will look like in time. And the structure does two things. Firstly, you have two options. The first one is what we call the 22-month option. And what that simply does is say, and this is the simple way to look at it. It's not complicated. Whatever you contribute consistently for 22 months, you will receive that in profits from 23 months onwards. So, and therefore, you've built a self-sustaining passive income for yourself, because those profits are then able to either give you that $100, let's say that you were decided to invest on a monthly basis, or it's able to then feed back and just compound your growth so that you can just continuously grow without you having to put monthly contributions in. So that's the idea from it. And then, of course, there is the way to accelerate. But let's just have a look at some of the practical sides to this. So what I've done here is I've used an example of the $100, 22 months. And what I did here was assuming that the person's his first month contribution is going to be the twin booster. And remember, the twin booster only goes until December, so he can only do this, and it will only be relevant for the next month. He would be starting there, just give him a little bit of a faster start, but he would still just continue putting in $100 every month, which effectively, if you put that $100 in, it would take him to 21 months as opposed to 22. It's a bit obvious. But what's happening is you've got two choices. And if you look at the actual contribution column at the back here, that is what you're going to, so you've got $100, you're going to get either 5%, or if you put the 200 in, or if you put the $100 in, you got the booster, you've effectively made $90 or $9.50, because remember that after your 5% withdrawal fee, you're receiving $9.50. So you would only have to contribute $9.50 if you were sticking to the 22-month plan. But look what happens even when you do use your $100 contribution per month to get yourself to that point of $2,200, where you're earning more than $100, and it's $104.50 per month. You've effectively only spent $998 out of your own pocket. So that's one way to look at it. If you're going to accelerate that, then you're just going to be taking those profits and putting them back and adding the $100 yourself. And that is going to bring you to about 15 months. So you would have, accelerated your target by 7 months effectively. So that's the structured program. It's exactly the same as you doing at the moment by opening a portfolio. You simply open new portfolios. If you've got profits, you just add them to that $100. And if you wanted that compounding effect when you wanted to get into the 15-month program as opposed to the 22. So it's not something the company offers. It's just a way of doing, helping people to get a bit of a structure into their savings. The SIP program that you see in the back office, that is open to anybody, but it's specifically for the European people, because if you did take the SIP program where you put $251 per month for 12 months, you would need to get yourself to Europe to fly out of either one of the, Paris, Amsterdam, whichever carrier would take you into Europe. But you can still partake in the SIP program if you do want to. So that's open. We have also asked the company to look at SIP program for the African market, where you potentially could get a trip to Bali or Thailand or something like that. Or a cruise, to the Portuguese islands or something like that. But But the idea came from the SIP program, and it's just trying to introduce a structure to people. Because why do you want to do this? Well, it's going to help the person, because obviously the biggest benefit that NWP gives is to the partner with a portfolio, and then obviously the next is the affiliates. So let's just have a look at an example of 6. Now, you all know why you need 6 friends, and you actually need 7 friends. Does anyone know why you need 6 and 7 friends?
I know you need 6 to carry the coffin.
That's
I'm not
right.
sure about the seventh one.
Well, in that, that's right, 100% correct, Paula. So what happened is one of my friends said, yes, I only need 6 friends because I'm not planning to die, so I don't need anyone to read the book at the moment. You see? So yes, 100% correct. You need 6 friends. So you got those 6 friends and you're going to join them in, and these 6 friends are going to take a triple or a twin booster. And so there's the structure. They're going to each put in $100. And you, if they, what they're going to be doing is, because they got a triple booster, what they will be making is $10 a month. Your referral bonus, and we're looking at your monthly income here as opposed to the weekly, your referral bonus on those 6 people, and they've only put in $100 each, will be $9 for the month. And then your binary, because you've structured that very well, you put 3 on your left, 3 on your right, you're going to get $4.50. So your month earning from your 6 friends with their triple boosters in the first month is going to be $13.50. Now, because you've encouraged them to work the structure, let's have a look at what your earnings are going to be after the 22 months. And now you've done nothing else. You've just told them about this, and you're still looking for the 7th friend, or you're not worried about the 7th friend because you're not planning to leave the world yet. So you've only got these 6 friends, and that's all you're going to work with. And they haven't done anything either. And that's your monthly earning from that process. Is this all clear? I try to make it as simple as possible so that people who see this for the first time can understand how the affiliate bonuses work, etc. Any questions on this?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Yes.
Okay, good. And remember that, in my experience, what happens is people will start slowly, but, after 3 or 4 months, they start seeing things, and especially if they did take the booster, they see the results a lot quicker, and they start then trusting the system, telling their friends, and adding more. And believe me that even if you told your 6 friends not to do anything for this time period, your business would not look like this after 22 months. That's almost a certainty. So there we go. Here's a little graph just to show you the difference in your growth between your 22 months and your 15 months. That just shows you the effect of that acceleration in the 22 months. Remember, you're only putting in a set amount every month, and you're taking the profits, or you're using those profits to combine so that you can pay less from your pocket on a monthly basis. In the case of 15 months, you're taking the set amount plus the profits and just reinvesting them so that you can get that accelerated result, resulting in 7 months quicker than what you set out to do. I'm going to close the presentation now, and let's have any questions or anything you'd like to discuss. I'm open to that.
Rich,
Sure.
thank you. I've learned a lot tonight. Thank you so much. It clarified quite a number of things. I'm still a little bit new here. If you receive commissions and profits on my deposit, now it lies there. How do I reinvest that? How do I go about reinvesting? In what wallet will it go? And how do I go about reinvesting it?
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So, that's fantastic. So what we need to understand is that when you first entered the system, you used an exchange. Okay, so that means you had rands or dollars or whatever you had, and you needed crypto. So you went to an exchange, you bought yourself some crypto, and you sent that into NWP to start your deposit. Now you're not worrying about that. You're going to look at your profits, and you want to take those profits and potentially you want to reinvest them. So let's have a look at that process. Now, you don't want to go to an exchange just to simply take money into something and send it back to NWP. You want to go the shortest, easiest, cheapest route, where also if you're going to use an exchange, they need to, they'll ask you questions every time you move money through them. So you don't want that hassle. So what I suggest is that you open yourself a private crypto wallet. The option that I like is the SafePal wallet, which is very similar to your Trust, your MetaMask, your Exodus, and those type of wallets. But I use the SafePal wallet, and because it's just been easier for me. Now, what you'll need is, when you open your SafePal wallet, make sure that you write down those 12 words and keep them safe. Don't put them on your computer. Don't take a photo of them. Write them down on a piece of paper. And the other thing that you'll need is the 6-digit code. As long as you've got those two things, you'll always be safe. Open yourself the wallet, and then you're going to look for Polygon USDT. Now, and you're also going to find Polygon. Polygon is your gas, and Polygon USDT is the currency, and that's what you're going to draw out of the NWP system. So those are the two things that you need, and the gas that you need is very small. So rather ask someone to send you 5 cents than to try and go and buy some gas. Because the minimum gas that you can buy is probably about $5, and $5 will be enough for you and your team for a year. Okay, so yes, if you're wanting to go and sponsor your whole team with gas for a year because you can send them $5 cents at a time, you're welcome to do that. But don't let everyone go and buy gas, because that's going to just spend $5 and it's just going to sit there. So that's just a bit of a side note there. So what you're going to do is, then you've got your wallet, and then when you go to your back office, now when you've got 2 different wallets in your back office. One is your checkout wallet, and then the other one is your referral wallet. Or I think it's called that. Anyway, so you'll see it's got your referral bonuses in, and the one's got your profits in. They will go separately, and they're not put together. So if you've got $3.50 in your profit wallet, and you've got $3.50 in your affiliate wallet or your referral wallet, you can't make a withdrawal. You need $5 in each of those. So that's when you can make the withdrawal. Now, when you make that withdrawal, it's going to come to you in Polygon. You then need to go into your SafePal wallet, find the address, and load that into the NWP system. Don't load it until such time as you make the withdrawal, because if you don't, what I find is that people go and load a wallet and then only to find that their friend, and you might have a friend who maybe uses another wallet, and he's the friend who's going to help you. So if you find out what your team and what your friends are using, and use the same thing from them. If you're going to ask me for help, well, then SafePal wallet's the way to go. So just, don't jump the gun and just go and load wallets. Just because when you've loaded a wallet in your back office as a withdrawal wallet in NWP, you can't simply change it. You need to contact support, and they will change that. But it's the technical guys change that, and that's typically you need to change 3 or 4 days. Let's put it that way. Just for security reasons, it's not done automatically or immediately. So just remember that. Then now you're going to make that withdrawal to your SafePal wallet. You're going to get the Polygon USDT, and then from each of those wallets, who's ever got $5, you can make it. So if you had $5 in your checkout wallet and you had $5 in your referral wallet, you could make that withdrawal. There'll be 2 separate withdrawals, because when you go into withdrawal, it asks you what wallet. Just remember, when making a withdrawal, if it says there you've got $9.55 you can draw $9.54. You just as a rule of thumb, just leave 1 cent there. That's all you need to do, and they'll always be smooth. Sometimes you can draw $9.56 if there's $9.56 there. It really just depends on the other zeros that are in that amount. Okay, but as a rule of thumb, just leave 1 cent, and it'll always be smooth and quick. Right, so that's the way you do the withdrawal. And then once it's in your SafeBell wallet or your private crypto wallet, you then redeposit it into the system, open a new portfolio, and off you go. Right, so that's a bit of the way that the process works. I hope that helps. Any questions on what I've just said, please do ask. George, does that help you a bit more? Chris. Yes, Chris.
Yes. Sorry, I have some grandkids here in the background.
No problem.
Okay. All right. Yes, I hear you talk about SafeBell. I just want to say that I'm using Binance, and that's also working fine.
Okay. So, Chris, Binance does work fine. Remember that it is an exchange, and they will, every time you make a transaction, they will ask you who you're sending this money to and what you're going to do with it.
100%. Yes, you're right.
That's the only
that's
thing.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Yes.
You know,
and I found sometimes here there's a few extra steps that you must go and sort of approve the withdrawal.
Yes, that's correct.
You know, so this you must just check it. Yeah. But I just wanted to mention, you know, it's not just SafeBell, but I know people that's using SafeBell, no problems.
Yeah. That's right. So, you know, I'm not saying you have to use anything, but just pointing out the differences. And as you can see, you know, Chris uses the Binance wallet, but there are the extra steps that need to go through. And if you are just reinvesting, they would, you know, if you are doing a larger amount through those type of exchanges, they would need to report that to the tax authorities, etc.
Yeah, that's like with me, Chris. I've used Binance as well, but I did change mine to SafeBell. It is less hassle to get your money in and out of NWP and get it reinvested as well in with Binance, and it's much more faster as well. The only time I take my money to Binance is when I have to withdraw.
Yeah,
put it in my bank.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks, Blanche. George, does that help you understand the system a little bit more?
Rich, yes, thank you. I didn't know how it works. Now I understand how it works.
We made a video on how to do a withdrawal, which I think I must just get and put back onto our site so that you can just see how the process works. What we did was just did a simple withdrawal, put it into a SafeBell wallet, and reinvest, open a new portfolio. So I have got a video of that as well, which I'll share on the group after the meeting. I'll share it on the normal group, actually, so that everyone can see that. I think it'll be benefit to everyone, even those who are not part of our training group. Any other comments, questions, concerns?
Yes.
Yes, Chris.
Sorry, Rich. Okay. I don't know if this is a right platform or you want to do it maybe at another time. What can I call it? The project, you know, the initiative for the LinkedIn postings and all of that. I actually, you had an explanation the one night, and I must admit I fell asleep and I missed some of it. So I'm not sure what to do. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
I don't know if you want to answer that maybe later, or can you answer it now?
No, we can do it here. Yeah. So the idea was for everyone that's here, if you're on LinkedIn, we've made a group of people who are on LinkedIn, and the idea is to get about 30 people, and that's 30 people from all over, not just South Africa, and the other part of the team is in Latvia. So we want people from all over, but we need about 30 people on the group, so that you are posting and people are liking and sharing, so that people on LinkedIn, because the more sort of interaction you get on posts and likes and those sort of things, the more it's going to be pushed out to the public. So if anyone's interested in joining the LinkedIn activation, just reach out to me and we can send you some more information about that. And then what will happen is we're running a bit of a test at the moment, but the main sort of impetus will start when we've got 30 people on the group, so it becomes a little bit easier for everyone to share and interact with each other. And so it doesn't look too contrived. That's the whole idea. So yeah, if you're interested in that, please do reach out to us, and we've also got a separate group for that. If you're interested in the LinkedIn activation, we help you and that sort of thing to get you going. And yeah, that's if you need more information, we can help you on that one. Thanks a lot. Okay.
How's it, Rich? Mark here.
Yes, Mark. How's it?
Hi. How you doing?
Good, thanks yourself.
Good. So, Rich, I just want to. I can't recall what with regards to the whole putting the money, redepositing or taking the money out of your wallet and so forth, and moving it back in, and then creating another portfolio to continue with your investments and that. But you said to me, I mean, not to me, but you just mentioned is that you open up and then you create a portfolio. Then you withdraw your money and you create another portfolio. But how do you actually how are you able to compound those investments if you've got multiple portfolios?
Okay.
Because I don't understand, because I understand one portfolio is one stream and another is another stream, and you can't compound on those. So you can't. How do you join them to compound them?
Okay, all right. Let me open the whiteboard. I know last time I had struggled. Here's the whiteboard. Let me find it. Here we are. Okay.
Cool.
So I managed to find it. Wow. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do here, let's just put some text onto the screen. So let's say your first portfolio is $100. And the next time you open your portfolio, you're putting in $10. And then the next time you put in, let's say you put in $12. Okay. Now, in your back office, you've got 3 portfolios listed. And what's going to happen is that each of these on a weekly basis will be making whatever the percentage is for the week. So let's just say we made 1.25% for the week. Now, so what that's going to be is, just get my calculator. So when we go here, we're going to go $1.25. The next one, the 10, is going to make 12 cents. So that's 0.12. And so it's 1.3 actually. And then this one's going to make 12 times 15 cents. So that's what week 1 is going to look like for you. All of these amounts here will be in your checkout wallet. Although these portfolios are listed separately, they all show in the one wallet, all the profits together. Now what happens, let's say we look at after a month. So after a month, we effectively got $5 here. We've got 50 cents in this one, the next one, and we've got 60 cents in the bottom one. So is everyone following at this point? So these are the profits that are in your wallet. Now what happens is, and don't take out your, don't remove your capital. That's not needed to consolidate or compound. That's not needed at all. So what you would do then is you're going to open yourself, or you've got $6, let's say $6.10 that's available. So what you would do is you say, no, I really want to open a new portfolio. In one of these obscure wallets that I've still got, I found myself $5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that $6.10 plus the $5 that I've got in that new wallet, and that's going to open me a portfolio, or I'm going to make a deposit, and I'm effectively going to have a deposit of $11.10. So that'll be in your check-in wallet. You've got $11.10. You can then, what will happen is this one, you'll then open portfolio number 4 with $11. So this is then moved away. It's effectively gone there. And this is your new portfolios. Does that sort of, let's just make this bigger and show you what these are your total portfolios now. So you've got $100, you've got $10, you've got $12, and you've got 11. What's effectively happening is you've taken profits that you made from your $100. You've taken profits that you've made from your $10. You've taken profits that you made from your $11, plus some extra that you put in, or you may have just waited until you got there and then opened a new portfolio. And that's going to give you the compounding effect. It's not automatic. So the $100, if these profits are just lying in a wallet, you have to take them out to get that compounding effect. Does that answer your question, Mark, or is there something I didn't make too clear?
Yeah, yes and no.
Okay, please.
To me, from the history and that, I understand what you're saying there is adding the multiple portfolios and you're compounding across all those, your capital across all those different portfolios. But from my previous way of compounding is that you always build on your original capital. In other words, a single portfolio. And, like where you've actually then introduced a capital, say of $200. And when from your proceeds in that, you take from those proceeds and you add it to the original capital of 200, and then you'll build on that 200. And that 200 will then actually build on a monthly basis and with the compound that you would actually reinvest with back into that single portfolio, in other words.
Okay, yes. I get what you're saying. The problem is, and the system's not designed for that, because if you wanted to make, and basically what you're looking at is making yourself a nice little neat back office. That's just going to cost you, because if you're going to take your capital out, so let's say, for instance, you had here 133. So you now effectively want to take all of these out. You're going to make a withdrawal of your capital, which you can happily do, and now you're going to make 133, and that's your new portfolio that you opened.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, but effectively, there's going to be no difference on what you earn on a weekly basis, because and can you see that? Because I think that's where a lot of people can't quite see it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting to. Is that, yes, I understand what you're saying. When you create multiple portfolios, yes, you are still earning from those different portfolios, and you're just building on. And once you've actually created enough money to reinvest on with a new portfolio, the new portfolio is then going to grow with its own growth, and so on and so on. But yes, this is a different concept, and yes, I'm just trying to get that around my head. So I understand the way what you've explained. Yeah.
Okay, so what's happened here is these two, although this is 133 and this is 4 different portfolios with 4 different amounts in it, at the end of the day, you're going to be earning the same amount into your checkout wallet on a weekly basis.
Correct.
Okay. Now, and you can do that if you want to, one time. Okay.
What?
Because
consolidate.
Yes, but it's because the first time you withdraw your capital, it's free. Okay.
I see what you're saying. So basically withdraw all your capital and then create a whole new portfolio with one single capital amount.
Yes, but okay, remember that now you've used your joker, you could say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the next time you're going to take out any capital, so if you need some money for Christmas or you need some money if because it's like a savings account, the next time you need money from your account, you're going to have to pay 2% withdrawal fee.
Right. Yes.
So you don't want to do that. Although it's going to look nice and neat in your back office, you don't want to do that because it's going to cost you 2%. And
yeah. No, I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But okay, so but isn't it going to get a bit messy? Is say if you get to a certain point where you can invest with new capital on a weekly or a monthly basis, and you're going to have to create tons of portfolios eventually. Eventually, you're going to be sitting with 20, 30, 40 portfolios. And then doesn't that also then the management of that's going to get a little bit messy, not so?
Well, I've actually got people with, I think my one guy's got 64 portfolios.
Sure.
Because what he's got is he just every week he's been reinvesting.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he'll reinvest and sometimes he'll add some more capital and he'll sometimes he forgets to draw one of his amounts and then you'll draw it out during the weeks. But it's all there. Now, when it's in the foundation portfolios, okay, and this is something that's quite interesting because a lot of people have the same concern as you. But yes, it does get messy, but you can check everything and everything works, okay? Mm-hmm. And you'll know how much profit you're making, and there's a back office there where it gives you all the breakdown of all your profits from all your portfolios. Now, what the next question, and that's interesting, is what happens when you put 10,000 in? Okay, because if you look at your back office, and you look at your portfolios, to open a growth portfolio, you need 10,000. So and let's say that's now number one. Here's number one. And this is going to say then next to it, it's going to say growth. When you put in, now you're going to take your growth and you decide, no, you don't need the money. You just want to do this. You've earned your, what would that be? 200. Yeah, it's about 200. Okay, so now you're going to take your 200 profit because you're earning 8% a month. And when you put that 200 in, it's going to say foundation because that 200 is not 10,000. And now this is when we need to consolidate. So what we needing to do here is we have to consolidate these two because we've got 10,000 in and we want to get this 200 part of the 10,000 so that we can get the portfolio to grow we want the growth on not 10,000 that's going to earn 8% and 200 that's going to earn 5%. We want 10,200, but we certainly don't want to draw out 10,000 every week and put the profit with it. Agreed, because that's going to cost us 2%, and that's virtually all our profit's going to go away.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now what happens is all of the portfolios in growth and elite, what happens is support comes in every week. We send them a ticket and they then consolidate this for us. Okay. So
Is that so? Are you talking about between your different between the growth and foundation, but not? Okay, all right. Sorry, carry on. Let me
so this is only available because obviously support's not going to go and do all your foundation portfolios because it's actually not going to make a difference.
Okay, all right, cool.
So there's no reason because you're still earning the same result from these two. So you don't have to ask them to consolidate it. You just need to look at your profit statement on a weekly basis. But here, you do need to consolidate. And that's when you contact support on a weekly basis and ask them to do this for you. I believe that the system will be bringing this in where you can automate this, or you can, on a weekly basis, instead of contacting support, you will have the option to consolidate your growth portfolio on a weekly basis. But at the moment, it's still a manual thing where you have to contact support. But yes, they obviously will do that on the bigger amounts. On the smaller amounts, they will just like. And one of the reasons, remember, although this sounds very neat and nice, okay, if you did consolidate your growth portfolio, which you obviously want to for the best result, what happens when you need $100? Or you need, you're probably not going to need $100, but you might need $1,000. Okay, because you can draw your capital at any time. Unfortunately, because it's consolidated, you would have to draw the full amount. Because when you draw capital, you're closing a portfolio.
Correct.
So when you need $100 here, well, you just close this portfolio.
True.
Or if you've got a $500 or you've got 500s, you just close 5 portfolios and you easily get your capital. It's only going to cost you 2% if you have made withdrawals in the past. However, here becomes a bit more of a decision.
Okay. Yeah.
So and that's just the way the system functions. So yes, you're going to get more. You can consolidate your growth portfolios, but you need to know, what your strategy is. Are you consolidating, or perhaps you might need to leave some money out on the side in case you have that as if you are sort of utilizing it and you need a reserve fund, maybe you want to sort of put something on the side. It's going to earn you a little bit less, but it's going to cost you less if you do want, sort of. One of the guys was saying, he's got his thing and he puts money in for 3 weeks and then he takes the money out on the 4th week to pay some accounts because he's got some, he earns money and sort of on a freelance basis. But he'll put the money in, let it grow, but then take it out. So it really depends on your own strategy. So it's just, I'm glad that you asked the question because it allows everyone to understand this process and how it would work.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, and I see. Yes, it makes it more flexible in that sense as well, because you're not going to impact, like you say, if you want to withdraw everything, you're going to have to. If you want to draw a higher amount, then you have to close your one portfolio because you have to withdraw everything versus you having the access to maybe 1 or 2 portfolios, but not mess around with the others that are actually busy building your returns in that for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. No, good. All right.
Pleasure.
A lot more understanding there. Thank you very much.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad we have sessions like this so that we can get questions, because otherwise if you never heard the question, you'll never really know, because obviously it's quite a simple system, but there are little nuances like this that do require a bit of understanding.
Rich question, if I can.
Yes, sure, Chris.
Okay, let's say you have now on the growth foundation, because you're consolidating every month to get to the point where you have $10,000. Now, I don't expect you to answer this now. It might be a little bit of a devil's advocate question, and maybe you'll have to get some answers. Now, let's say get to the point where you have $20,000. Will you be able to split again so that you can maybe make withdrawals from the one? In other words, a 10 and a 10?
Yes, you would. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you would just keep them, because then you would decide, okay, which of your portfolios would you want to consolidate? And remember, you might also need to move that somewhere else. If you've got you could get, let's say you've got two 10,000s and you've built it up to two 10,000s, you might want to put your 10,000 into your wife's account and the 10,000 into another family member's name, so that you can get the binary effect and the bonus there.
So, I love the way you talk.
Yeah, you've got to think. I mean, this is your money. You've got to work it to the best of your ability. So, that's what I would do. I would definitely make sure that I'm getting the best benefit from my binary, because that's just going to get me up to the 50,000 quicker. Then I need to decide, now I've got these two, and yes, what am I going to do now when I've got 25,000 in each side? Am I going to combine them into one account? And obviously then you have to make the decision and do the maths. Is the extra 2% that you're going to get worth more than the binary that you're getting? And what is the situation? Because obviously when you're earning that sort of binary, you might be affecting other team members, and you've got to sort of make that decision. So it's, yeah, but that's where the whole idea comes in, where we can structure things and we can sort of decide, and you can work it to the best of your advantage.
Okay, thank you, Rich.
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. The other thing is as well, I think maybe when you talk about that, Rich, is with, if you say have a 10 or 20,000 growth phase, and you want to maybe draw off it on a regular basis. Basically, what you can do is create multiple foundation portfolios. And then eventually, once you've got enough, you can actually then start only doing the combining of one or two of the foundations with your current growth phase to actually build. But then if you've got multiple foundation ones where you've got your wallet sitting with some sort of returns in that, you have got the opportunity just to withdraw from those if you need living expenses.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I see exactly what you're talking about now, and I think what Chris also mentioned is also it gives you that flexibility to kind of like manage how you want to actually manage, well, how you want to set up your system, so that whether you want to do you invest, as well as also if you want to get some sort of return, live on your returns type of thing, something like that. Yeah. No,
That's
good.
right.
All right. So yeah, things are now going through my mind now. So so yes, that's making a lot more sense. And yes, I understand where the benefits come in there with that now. Thanks.
Okay, pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to use this, to look at these examples. It's really good. Yes, Chris.
Yes, Rich, just maybe I've opened on my laptop now the back office. Okay, just to say where you can see your profits on a laptop. I don't know how it looks like on a mobile phone. Okay, on a laptop you'd go to on the left. You'll go down to rewards. You'll click on profit, and you will see every week your profit. So it is a summarized total. But on the right, there is a button called View Info. And if you click on that button, it will tell you from each one of your deposits how much how much you've earned on that. Just to say, if you want to know, if you want to go and have a look on where the money comes from for the week.
Chris, do you want to share your screen with us and just then everyone can see? Would you do that?
I don't mind doing that. Let me just go and see if I can go before you share.
Okay.
Must you allow me to share?
Yes, I'll make you co-host, and then you'll be able to share. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now everybody. I hope everybody can see my screen now. Like I say, I'm on my laptop. I'm on a computer, not on my cell phone. Okay. If you scroll down on the left, where it says on top the deposit fund, withdrawal fund, referral team, and so on. Scroll down, you'll see it says rewards, and then you'll see profit. Okay. Now, in the main area of that screen, you'll see for what I have earned every week. Okay. Now that's a summary. Now, if I would take the week of 25/11/15, which was until last week Friday, and then you'll see there's a button that say on the right that says View Info. Okay. So I just click on that button. Okay, and it then opens up all my deposits, all my portfolios for this specific week. You can see that I've got 5 of them. There's a $90 one, which is a booster, and you'll see a couple of $10 one, and then an $80 one. Of course, I also want to get greedy and make some money. So I've boosted myself to a 200 point, but unfortunately, I cannot do the $100 double booster. But there you can see what I've done. Now you can do that for any week. So that will give you the information for every week, just to show you how it adds up. Not that I use it, because I want the total, and for my spreadsheet, the total for the week is good enough.
Good. Thanks, Chris. While we've got your back office open, are there any questions from anyone else about the back office? Anything you need to know about the back office?
I don't mind sharing my back office, any screen, to show what I've got and anything like that. You can ask, and if applicable, I will share it.
Thanks, Chris. Chris, while you're here, won't you click on your genealogy?
Okay, let me just see if I can go there. Genealogy, okay. Sorry. I've clicked now. Let me try again. Sorry for that.
No problem.
Okay, there you can see the people that I've got.
Good.
3 on my left, 3 on my right.
Oh, very, very neat.
But it needs to change.
Okay. All right. So just for interest's sake, if you click on your name, Chris.
Yes, my name there.
Okay. This will give you a breakdown of what's in your team. Now, as you could see from Chris, he had 3 on his left, 3 on his right. However, I just want to mention that the business value that you see in those purple columns on the left and the right, if you notice here, those amounts are incorrect at the moment. Or in some of the portfolios or in some of the back offices. So if you've got 620 and 540 here, let's go to your dashboard, Chris, and let's just see what it says there. And scroll down a little bit.
Okay, is it fine like that? Must I still go down?
Go down a bit more. Okay, no, yours is actually correct. In some of the cases, and it probably won't be on a lot, but in some people, you've got the total deposit here in your back office is correct. In the genealogy, that hasn't been corrected yet. Obviously, in Chris's we saw it was correct, but in some cases that amount is wrong. Just to mention that they all that's a new feature that they've brought in, so that hasn't been updated, but the correct one is on your dashboard. Just as a heads up for people there.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, good. And then you'll notice I spoke about the checkout wallet and the referral bonus. Those profits that Chris was speaking to, those would come into his checkout wallet. The referral bonus is obviously what comes in from the direct commission, the binary, and the matching bonuses.
Yeah, you'll see my checkout wallet is actually that 1 cent that you mentioned earlier, because I did withdraw the $5. Well, it was a bit more than $5. I withdrew that during the weekend, and I've made a new deposit of $10. I added a little bit of my own funds. But I cannot withdraw from my referral bonus as yet, because I have to wait for that to become at least $5.
That's correct. Good. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate you sharing your screen and for your questions as well. Thank you. Any other comments or questions from anyone while we open on the back office here? Anything else you'd like to know? Anything you're unsure of, please ask.
Rich, a lot of questions tonight.
Yes, George, no problem.
Rich, other systems that I was involved with, they had a reinvest button that you could click, put the amount in, and reinvest internally. These guys won't consider to do this because we've got a lot of not knowledgeable people with crypto and etc. So it's quite messy the way things work currently, and laborious to withdraw and to put in again and whatever. So they won't consider to do this internally. That would take a lot of effort out.
George, I know that we've had requests like that, but I think what we really got to understand is that the whole transparency of the NWP system is the fact that everyone has to withdraw when there is the profits on the week, and that if we look at the risk. And I'll speak about this in the normal presentation. And one of the things is when companies and whoever starts any company, they are not professional traders. And so the system is designed to keep the professional traders in check, because no one knows how to manage a professional trader. If you haven't had 25 years experience of trading, you don't know how to manage that guy. So the system is just simply designed to make sure that the trader does his thing on a weekly basis, and those profits are then separated on a weekly basis. If the system, if it did allow you to automatically reinvest, which I understand, it'll make things easy, but unfortunately it'll also create or to introduce an element of risk into the system, which is not what we want. And that's the reason why it's there. So I feel for you, because I have people as well where, and just to make it simple, I've helped people where a simple thing like make the withdrawal, put it into their wallet, and redeposit it into the system takes 2 hours. Okay, where it should take 3 minutes. Okay, so eventually, when those people are they're not familiar with technology and they're even less familiar with crypto, what I do then, okay, very simply, is I say to them, right, I will help you, but I'm not going to help you in the case of we're going to spend 2 hours on a call every week just to help you. I simply do the following. I say to them, you keep your email address and you will get the one-time PIN. So when we make a withdrawal, it involves meaning going into your checkout wallet, then stating that you want to make a withdrawal, you put in the amount, and then you send an email to the one-time PIN. They receive that one-time PIN. And everything else I've got on my side. I've opened an individual wallet for them. I receive that money and I simply put it back in. So in other words, I log into their back office. I would make the withdrawal. They give me the one-time PIN, and I then take money from their individual wallet and reinvest for them. And that's what I've found to be the easiest, because then they've still got control, and I just take a screenshot of their account when I open it, show them how much is in their wallet and how much was redeposited at the end of the day. And it sounds like a bit of a hassle, but believe me, it's a lot easier to do that than spend 2 hours on a call where you're trying to help the person, click here and there, and he doesn't know what to do, and then they're unsure and all that sort of thing. So in some cases, that's what I do. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Rich, may I say 2 things?
Yes, sure.
Yes, the one thing that I think of, we must remember that NWP is a global system, operating in different countries with different kinds of legislation. I think the way that they do it is try to also to be safe. To sort of, how can I put it, cater for most kinds of legislation. Play it safe. The other thing is, I also want to say is, by the way that they do it now, although it's maybe a bit complex, maybe time consuming, and you must do a few things, the thing is, if you would go and do a thing on a big amount of money and you make an error, you might lose a lot of money. But now you must do every week a little bit of things on a smaller amount of money. If you would make an error somewhere, you only lose a little bit. You don't lose everything. So maybe that's 2 things that we must keep in mind. Keeping in mind that what you've said, not everybody. I mean, I'm not a crypto guru. So yeah, I try to play it safe, and I actually appreciate it, because it helps me to play it safe and be safe. And know if I do something wrong, it's only $5 or $6 or $7, not $200, $300, $400.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks, Chris. Yep, you're 100% right. So thank you. George.
Rich, thank you so much. This makes a lot of sense. And actually, this creates a lot of trust. A little bit more of a hassle, but it shows we can trust this company to do the right thing. Thank you so much.
That's right, George. You're 100% correct. Yeah. Okay, everyone. Well, thanks for sticking around. I'm sure that the questions that we've received this evening and the things we've discussed have definitely helped people, and it's just to, for you to understand the system more. I will be opening that Telegram group tomorrow and just notifying you where you can go and find all the content. So we'll do that. And yeah, thanks very much for your time this evening. I do look forward to seeing you on the calls tomorrow night. Bring your guests. Let's let's grow this. You've seen the track record, and as George says, everything here is done to instill confidence into people. So sometimes the things look like a bit cumbersome, but it's there to give people confidence, and it's there to be transparent. Because any money, even if it's a small amount that simply moves from one thing to the other, you're never sure if that's real money or not. And what happens with the NWP system is the money you get, the profit is real, and it's in your crypto wallet, and you decide what to do with it. And that, it seems like a hassle, but and you can decide what you want to do with it. It's not simply, oh, I've got money in the back office. Another issue, and something that's very important to know, is that because it's a weekly process and you do that withdrawal, and when you redeposit, that's new capital. It's when you open a foundation, that's new capital. If you were simply doing that reinvestment system, which sounds very nice, okay, or if the system is automatically just growing your balance, more often than not, if there's any hassle, you will look for your capital and you'll look for your growth. Here, you've only got capital. You haven't got growth. Growth is a small thing. As Chris mentioned, growth is a weekly thing. Your capital is the big thing. And each week, your capital grows. It's not your growth and your capital if you were consolidating everything into and automatically consolidating. So that's the important thing to know, is that your portfolio means that you've got capital, and it's your capital, and you can draw it out whenever you want. It's not part of some murky smoke and mirrors type of thing. And that should give everyone confidence. So, yeah, thank you so much. Do have a good evening further, and we'll see you tomorrow night.